The Farm Mudgegonga, Episode 10. There are a couple of us here that are lucky enough to help Judy set up this project on a casual basis. Today we talk to Leanne, a very clever horticulturist who is spending a couple of days a week helping to develop this amazing social farm. My gardening encyclopedia. Good morning, Leanne.
Morning, Darren.
We are sitting here in Heaven's Playground. What are you working on today, Leanne?
I've got some tidying up to do in the veggie garden, and I'll see if I can get a start on pruning the fruit trees, I think.
Now, how long have you known Judy for?
Really long time.
Not that old. You said you were 40 the other day.
Yeah, I know. I lied. Coming up on probably 50 years of knowing each other. We went off to boarding school in Ballarat, and so we would have been 11 when we met each other.
How does this place make you feel being out here?
Oh, pretty relaxed. It's a fabulous environment to work in, not just the physical environment that we're in, but also the people who are here. It's a pretty terrific sort of a place.
I often say that too. It's the best work environment, best work culture.
Well, you know, in 40 years in the workforce, this is easily the best place I've ever worked.
And Judy has a knack for bringing very cool people around her, doesn't she, and bringing the best out of people?
She seems to attract people. There are always people coming and going. I've been working out here for about 18 months now, and it just draws people. There's always somebody coming through, whether it be just to help out on the odd occasion, just on a volunteer basis, or to come and do, you know, a few days work here and there. Even my children who are in their 20s come out every now and then and give a hand.
And as I've said nearly in every episode, we always go away feeling better than when we got here.
Yeah, we've got a fairly close-knit core team, and we always, you know, every day we'll sit down, have lunch together, and quite often we'll have a specific team lunch where we'll fire the barbie up or something like that. So I think that sort of thing just engenders a really good work ethic amongst us, and we all just genuinely enjoy each other's company.
Judy's taking on some massive task, and I still am gobsmacked of what's going on, and if I'm away for a few days and come back, I see something new and big happening. And even this morning there's another project happening out the gate that wasn't talked about yesterday.
I know. I went to drive in this morning and I'm like, Dave's left the excavator right in the main gate and he's dug the road up, and okay, so I'll just go around the back way. But I honestly cannot get my head around the scale of what's happening out here, and I don't know how Jude keeps her finger on the pulse of everything. She's absolutely amazing.
She's got an amazing heart and so much to give and care for people.
Yeah, it's a really, really big vision, and it's really nice that I can be a part of making that happen.
Every day there seems to be surprises or some exciting growth somewhere, and I think you're responsible for a lot of that growth. So, Leanne, we're standing up on some rocks here overlooking a massive veggie garden.
And it's now twice the size that it was at the end of summer, full of winter crops at the moment, which is just fabulous.
What have we got in at the moment, Leanne?
At the moment, we're growing several different varieties of broccoli, some wombok, some red cabbage. We've got a couple of different varieties of collies. We've got leeks, Brussels sprouts, got some nice purple pak choy. And I'm also having a go at some parsnip and swede, which I've never grown before. And then behind us, we've got some red onions and some garlic kicking off in there, which it's looking really good at the moment.
Awesome. What was that one you mentioned? Pak choy.
Pak choy, it's an Asian, you know, your bok choy. It's kind of in that family, but it's got a broader, shorter leaf. And the particular variety that we're growing is purple, a very intense purple colour.
So these veggie gardens are raised a metre high. There's archways, but there's little nooks and crannies here for different people with different abilities.
That's right. We want to make it wheelchair accessible because obviously the farm will be open to everybody of all abilities. And you should know, you helped to build these. Remember that day in the rain when we started? It was you and Rachel and I. We were trying to put these things together, and we were all in our raincoats and gumboots. And I've got some photos of that, and it's really quite amusing. But it came together beautifully. So we did the first stage of it in time to get the summer crops in last year, And then the second stage we finished earlier this year, and we had a little bit of help from the U3A people in Myrtleford. And look, I've still got every garden bed jam-packed full. We raised the seed. Jude actually bought us a bunch of seed, heritage seed. I distinctly remember spending a day in the shed with you. We were madly sowing all this seed, and we popped it all in the little hothouse, our tiny little hothouse, and it worked beautifully. And we had absolutely bumper crops through summer. And while winters struggled a little bit because the weather stayed warm for so long and we had no rain, and it just refused to cool down enough to help the brassicas along. But now things are getting going, and we're actually harvesting some cauliflowers. We've picked a whole bunch of carrots earlier in the week. The snow peas are really coming along, and hopefully they'll grow to the point where they cover those Rio arches that we've got all the way through the garden. And just, really dress it up and make it look really pretty as well as practical.
I did knock off a few carrots on the table the other night. I roasted them, they were beautiful.
Absolutely. Oh, really? Great, because
sensational.
I've got some purple ones at home that I haven't used yet. So, that's really good to know.
So there's going to be stacks of produce come out of this. What will that be for eventually?
Well, we would hope that, maybe we can generate a little bit of an income stream for the farm from the produce that we grow. Up to this point in time, we've managed to keep it completely organic, and we're growing quite a few heirloom varieties, such as the purple carrots we just mentioned. So when we have people coming to the farm to visit, they'll be able to purchase fresh produce, possibly even pick their own produce and, give us a donation or pay whatever the market value would be at the time. Last year, we through the summer, we were doing a bit of trial and error and experimenting to see what grows really well here so that we know what we can produce a lot of through summer. And we ended up with so many apple cucumbers and tomatoes and eggplants and capsicum that we gave some away to Caravan. So that was really nice.
A nice feeling, yeah. And surrounding the veggie garden, there are other areas, and I'm yet to learn stacks about it, but companion planting and plants to keep certain insects away, is it? Or what are they for?
So companion plants are extremely important when you're trying to grow vegetables. Not only do they dress the place up and add bright pops of colour, but they bring the bees in for pollination. Some of them, like marigolds, can attract the detrimental insects, like the bad insects will go to the marigolds first before they go to your plants. And other instances, some plants will actually deter the bad insects. We're finding that things like the blue borage there and the calendulas, the orange and yellow calendulas that we've got further down that you can see, and also behind us here, the bees absolutely love them. And it's so important to keep the bees happy.
Well, there's two episodes I want to talk on. One is down the track a little bit, companion planting. I think we could really nut that out one day. I've got stacks to learn.
Yep.
And the bees. Between you and Judy, I'd love to talk to you both about how important the bees are.
Yeah,
I think there's a whole
that'd be really good.
there.
We'll bring Judy in on that because she's got her little hive set up over there and she loves her bees. Yeah.
And you're gardening not just in the veggie garden, obviously, because this is acres and acres of garden. And I'm looking at the big trees you've got in the driveway and the little wrestle you're having with deer at the moment, eating some plants out the front gate.
I know, how frustrating. I put in a beautiful little garden down at the bottom gate. Like, you and Dave had done some magnificent rock work down there, and we've got that beautiful cascading waterfall as you come in the bottom gate to the farm.
Is that where the Rock of Knowledge is?
I don't know.
Haven't you sat on the Rock of Knowledge yet?
Which one? There's so many. And I'd planted out a lovely little garden down there, and I went down there a few weeks back and discovered that the deer really liked it as well. So I had lovely little seaside daisies all nicely pruned up as you come in the gate, and also some fabulous cousinet casuarinas, which were just looking fabulous. And the deer have destroyed a lot of them. So back to square one there.
We've got wetland plants that you've planted. There's various fruit trees. There's larger trees, canopy trees, understory, and obviously all the plants around the house.
So we're trying to create areas with the whole idea that the farm will be a relaxing, therapeutic place for people to go. We're trying to create little pockets in different places where people can walk and sit and relax or look at things of interest, like the grotto area down here, which we'll probably talk about further down the track. We're creating a sensory wall in there. But we've also got a fairly extensive lavender bed on this top retaining wall here with a couple of different varieties of lavender, including one older heritage style lavender called Grosso. Got some rosemary up the end there as well. Got a couple of beds of crepe myrtles because anybody local would know that crepe myrtles grow particularly well in our area, and for summer colour you can't beat them. We've got Jude's original citrus orchard up the top here. And
what's in there?
Lemons, oranges, grapefruits, mandarins and pomelo. You can talk to Judy about that one.
Okay.
And then down the bottom, we've got the stone fruit orchard, and we do have a quince at the top as well, and apples, pears and stone fruit. And we've just recently extended that and put in about another dozen trees down there. Got some figs down there as well. So, and then we've got a nice little path that kind of meanders its way through the middle of that down to the farm centre building, which is at the bottom. So that's another nice little walkway for people.
So people will be able to walk through all these walkways, pick some fruit,
through all the trees.
Stop in one of your little seats you've built over here.
Yeah, well, when you think that we're going to be having probably older people or people who aren't, that their mobility might be a little bit impaired, so we've put a seat halfway up that path, so that if anybody needs to, they can stop and have a sit amongst the pansies.
Even you and I have been known to have a little seat over there.
I know.
Now it scares me over here. There's about still 800 to 1,000 trees to be planted.
Yep.
What are they for?
Why is that scary? That's not scary. So they're going down to the creek. We've already put a lot in down there. We're probably about halfway through the plantings down there, and we've had the lovely people from U3A Myrtleford, University of Third Age Myrtleford, have been coming out and volunteering and helping us to put those in. So it's is it a catchment authority?
Catchment Management Authority?
Yeah, planting that we're doing down there, and Dave has kindly been down there and ripped trenches for us, which has made things a little bit easier. But it's a regeneration of all the plantings along the creek. All the willows have been removed, and we're putting all of these native species in. So we've got everything from river red gums down to kunzias. So, there's some leptospermums, some clistamens, all that sort of stuff going in down. Lots of acacias. So that's really fantastic, and I can't wait to see them when they get a bit of size about them. It's going to be fantastic down there.
There's something special about planting something, isn't there?
Yeah,
how do you feel?
Very satisfying. It's very satisfying to put, especially I think if it's something that you've actually sown a seed or raised it from a seed, and then you plant it out in the garden, and then you see it, achieve its life cycle, whether it be something that's going in the veggie garden for us to pick and eat, or even if it's something, like this lily pilly hedge that we've got planted around the outside of the grotto area. It's just extremely satisfying to see something settle in and take off successfully.
You've created some really cool names. We've got Blossom Alley.
Yes.
Now there's a little valley down behind that. What's that called?
Oh, that's Death Valley. So
what happens in Death Valley?
So Dave's got this knack of digging out mature plants with his excavator. He's very talented. And then he trundles them. If they're in his way, they get dug out, and then they get trundled down to Death Alley, where he just plonks them in and waters them with the excavator bucket. And we'll have to put some video up on Instagram or somewhere, because it's a sight to behold. But yeah, that's where plants where we don't have a current home for are living temporarily under no irrigation except natural rainfall. So if they make it, they make it. If they don't, that's where Death Valley came from, the name.
We had a very special birthday at the creek one day.
Oh, yes.
Somebody's milestone.
Yeah, the big
Little surprise was there?
The big 6-0 on the, it was very much a surprise. I thought I was getting in the car just to go down there and have a look at what's happening down there and see what, the plans will be for the plantings and all that sort of thing. And I got down there and discovered Darren and Dave hiding in the creek. They'd neglected to take their high vis off, so they were doing a dreadful job of hiding. And then it was all set up with a table and chairs and streamers and so forth. And that was, I was very touched indeed. It was because it was the 29th of February, which of course only comes around once every 4 years. And
that's right.
Happened to be my 60th birthday. So, Jude and the guys here put on a big bash for me down the creek, and it was just wonderful. Wonderful. I was very touched.
So, yeah, you work very hard here, Leanne. Are there elements that you find relaxing?
Oh, the team lunches. I spend a fair bit of time perhaps pushing a wheelbarrow or on a shovel or that sort of thing. But then sometimes I'll just be standing at the veggie tubs weeding. So, you can have the radio on and you just sort of chill out. And these days I get followed around by 3 roosters. And they're, sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're not. But, you don't get that in every workplace.
No, exactly. You've got a pretty cool potting shed, St Michael's.
St Michael's, yes. It's brilliant. It's got a wonderful bench in there. At the moment I've got some seed that I've collected from the nasturtiums and the calendulas. It's sitting on the bench in there drying out a bit. But it's very handy. It's located just adjacent to all the veggie tubs, so it's got things like the fertilisers and all that sort of stuff in there as well, and all my pots and trays. So it's and hopefully at some point in the future we'll have a lovely big hothouse next to it as well, but that's down the track a little way yet.
I've got an Audrey Hepburn quote for you. To plant a garden is to dream of tomorrow.
That's very true.
Now, Leanne, it's time to wrap this episode up, but I do want to talk to you about the grotto, because I've got a lot to learn about that. So thanks so much, Leanne. It's time for you to go and get your hands dirty again.
Oh, thanks, Darren.